Sounds good to me. Make it 2 weeks. You're gonna have to do more than that. I don't think about it. I don't have to do anything. I was never mad. Sounds good to me. Good. We're serious. Really. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And at the very least, we can make sure everyone stays together for the rest of the stops we're making today. You all nodded at the suggestion.
Yes.
We won't let you down. Hold on. We won't let you down. We'll be the best sheepdogs ever, guarding the flock and catching any strays.
Funny.
We could at least be shepherds. You chuckled your mood, lifting in spite of the bumpy morning. It was going to be alright. You turned to the entrance for the farmer's market for one final glance, pressing into your memory under the new light. You thought on what you'd pick up at the market, and how you were going to enjoy it later. Some things you could only get from the local suppliers like this. That was another perk about coming along to the market today. Actually, you realized this would be a good time to bring out the fudge you got to share, while everyone was clustered together. Hey, wait, before we go, I've got something for everybody. The announcement grabbed everyone's interest, and I looked over at you, each curious about what you had in store. You dug your hand into the bag and pulled out the specially selected treat. I saw this amazing fudge stall, so I got a box for us to share. Ooh,
Aww.
that's so sweet of you. The Holdens were wearing matching grins at the prospect of free desserts, their family resemblance more noticeable as they mirrored each other's expression. Sweet is the right word for this. Thanks very much, Z. Oh, I see it say Cliff now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're fantastic.
Great, can't wait to bust it open. We should save it for tonight. You can't properly enjoy a treat when there's still chores to be done. Besides, we don't want to make a mess with them melting in this heat. The others murmured their agreement and nodded, reaching a consensus. You stowed the box away safely for now. Cove then sidled up next to you, an eager smile on his face. You could tell from his expression that he was up to something. Thanks again for getting the fudge. It was really cool of you. You knew he hadn't come over just to thank you individually, not with that huge smirk. I got something to share too, but, well, only really with you, I guess. Not as nice, oh well. You cooked up a scheme of your own? He laughed. Anyway, well, I sort of picked something out with you in mind. You held a hand to your chest, staring at Cove as he explained further.
I mean...
Since your mom's decided we should shop separately, I figured I could use the time to get something just as a little surprise. He reached into one of his bags and retrieved one of the wrapped up objects. You accepted the unexpected present, and he looked on excitedly as you tore off the paper. It was a glass bottle of orange soda. You didn't need to taste it to know that it would be nice. It was a boutique product. It was heavy in your hands, the container and smart metal cap reaffirming the quality. Even the label, constructed from coarse paper rather than a flimsy sheet of plastic, was distinctive. You were practically bouncing in anticipation, and you smiled sweetly at your reaction. I wonder if, because I ordered orange soda that one time, if I ordered something else like that would change his gift here. It's not a big deal, but I just thought he might like it. Thank you. You didn't have to, you're so wonderful. You smiled at him. You're always getting me things. You shook your head at his antics. You didn't have to do that. You were touched that Cove wanted to treat you to something nice, whether you were physically together or not. You were clearly always on his mind and in his heart. Liz clapped her hands together with the air of a teacher calling for attention. Since the other adults aren't acting like grown-ups, the rest of us are going to have to pick up the slack. It's time to get back on schedule and continue with the rest of the errands. Playtime is officially over. Ma laughed while Mr. Holden grinned awkwardly. Mom hung her head in an exaggerated display of mock defeat. Kids are tough, and I can't even call them kids anymore. I mean, literally looking at Liz, it's like, I can't believe she's that same little girl. Liz tut-tutted with amusement at her mother. Cove shrugged, staying a neutral observer, but the small smile on his face revealed that he was enjoying the conclusion. I mean, same with Cove as well. You laughed, glad that everyone was getting along. That's right, we're all grown-ups now. With that, your trip to the farmer's market was closed. It was time to move on. There were too many of you for one car, so you and Cove had wound up in Mr. Holden's car on the way over. I figured it made sense to do the same for the next leg of the journey. This is the same car. You sat next to Cove in the back. After buckling in, Cove leaned back in his seat, letting himself be cushioned by the headrest. Once he shifted a little, he appeared to have found the perfect angle for maximum comfort. He gazed out the window, looking suitably content with the world. You followed suit, hunkering down in your seat and looking out of the window as the car pulled away from the lot. You knew Cove well enough to spot the signs of when he was physically present, but mentally elsewhere. The way he would fall quiet, staring without seeing. The long blinks, all of which he was doing right now, as he looked at nothing in particular. You closed your eyes as you pulled up the resolve to speak. You were miles away for a second. What were you thinking about? Cove idly rubbed at his face. Honestly, I was just thinking about how nice it is to know you. It's, makes life better and everything. Though he turned away from you, his eyes were round and sincere. Not that this is a new revelation, but today was another reminder I'm lucky. That's so sweet. I feel lucky too. Yeah, I feel lucky too. He peeked at you from the corner of his eyes, still too shy to look at you. Directly, you smiled at him affectionately, eliciting an equally caring smile from Cove in return. You felt content, secure in your relationship with Cove. I'm drinking soda right now, so I think I'll enjoy it right now. You decide to enjoy your drink now. You twisted off the cap and brought it to your mouth. Even before the first sip reached your lips, the scent tickled your nostrils. You took a swig. It was refreshing. The perfect way to hit the spot after a long morning trawling through the market. This is great. Thanks, Cove. He grinned at you, pleased that his pick had been well received.
You're welcome.
You spent the rest of the day completing the remaining errands all together as a group. I'm surprised there wasn't an option to offer him a sip, because we know he likes orange soda as well. You had enjoyed your brief independence. You're glad you'd close the day with everyone. I'll go with the second option. I'm not really that independent. Ma had been true to her word and ensured that you spent the rest of the time with the Storm family and the Holden family in one place. It had been a wonderful time. A lovely high note to end on. There we go. Let me just make sure the file's transferred over, right? Videos. Oh wait, no. I should be pausing the recording right now, but I'm not. Okay, now I can delete those. Hopefully, okay. I gotta check because I've never done this. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so hopefully when I'm done with this recording, everything will be fine. But I'm kind of a dum-dum, so maybe not. Another placid summer day was drifting by. Your daydreams were chasing each other, none sticking around long enough to become a firm plan, but you really didn't mind that right now. Tapping worked his way into those dreams. Focusing more, you realized it was coming from your window. A grin popped on your face as though I had been waiting all day for this moment. Heading to the window, you could see Cove outside. His habit of climbing this way was really true Coveism. He'd rather scale your house than wait the couple extra minutes for you to come down. I'm cool with that. You held out a hand to him. You offered Cove a hand to help him. Once he was mostly inside, he took it to help steady the last bit of his entrance. Though considering how many times he's done this, he hardly needed the help.
Hey.
Hey to you. You think my mom should invest in some bigger windows? Cove laughed at that and took one last look at his exclusive entrance. He hummed with a teasing look on his face. And make my life easier, that's for sure. Cove's voice came out quietly, with a strangely pleased smile on his face. Did something happen? Cove opened his mouth to answer, only to have your phone vibrating cut him off. You both turned to where it rested a little further up on your bed. It was still face down, so you couldn't tell who was calling. It's okay. Your attention shot back to Cove. He smiled at you awkwardly.
Don't worry about it.
Go check. It could be important. I'll wait. Thanks. You shuffled it forward and scooped the little noisemaker into your hand, flipped it over and checked the caller ID. It's Miranda. Oh, you should answer. I want to say hi too. With a nod, you accepted the call and set it to speaker. Hi, Miranda. Hi. There was something off about her tone. Cove met your gaze and you saw the same confusion in his expression.
Have you heard from Terry?
At all? Or did you hear about her from Cove? Huh? No, she hasn't called me, but Cove is with me right now. Hey. Oh, hi, Cove. Is that what you were going to say? He shook his head no before realizing that it wasn't a good enough answer when one person couldn't actually see it.
No.
Terry hasn't called me today either. Is something wrong? At that, Miranda couldn't hold herself together any longer, and the muffled sobs from the other side of the line were unmistakable. Terry doesn't like me anymore, if she ever did. What? That doesn't sound right. You're probably her best friend out of all of us. Yeah, why do you think that? She sniffled, and there was a pop as you could hear her shift the phone to her other hand. Terry was here the other night watching movies with me. We were up super late. She realized her parents probably went to bed, so they couldn't pick her up. My mom and dad were definitely asleep then. Dad works early. I tried telling her it was okay to just spend the night and she could text her parents what happened, but Terry really didn't want to. You glanced at Cove. He looked equally unsure as you about where this story was going. It didn't sound like a friendship-ending situation. I suggested things to make it easier. She was nervous, like she could sleep by herself in my room while I stayed somewhere else. Yeah? And I said we didn't have to sleep at all. We could have kept watching movies until one of our parents woke up. I wouldn't have mind. I know not everyone can do sleepovers, but Terry wouldn't even tell me what was really wrong or what I could do to help. I thought we could tell each other anything. I guess I was wrong. Did you stay in the end?
No.
We got too loud in the kitchen and my dad woke up. He offered to drive her home when he heard what was wrong. She texted me apologizing for my dad having to do what he needed rest. That when he needed rest, but that wasn't it. She isn't talking to me anymore. You could hear every bit of the tears and heartbreak in Miranda's voice. This continued to be a shock for you, your neighbor, but Cove recovered and spoke gently. I'm really sorry.
I mean...
There's no way Terry wanted to make you feel this bad, or that she just done with your friendship because of this. Miranda's sniffling continued. You hope she had plenty of tissues handy. It'll be okay. I hope Terry's alright. Really, really weird that she reacted like that. It's not a big deal, honestly. You weren't sure what to say. And I don't want to pick a side. I'll just say, it'll be okay. It had to be. You couldn't imagine any alternative. Miranda's voice sounded a little bit more collected after finishing her story, but you knew that crying was far from being done. I thought that she had reached out to one of you by now. Maybe she's not talking to anyone. Yeah. Sorry for bothering you and Co about this. Hey, we're here for you.
Right.
You can tell us things. Thank you. Her shaky voice finally conveyed a little optimism, or at least relief that she wasn't dealing with it entirely on her
Is
own.
that all right?
If you do hear from her or anything, could you let me know if she's alright? We can. Thanks. Let's talk later, okay? Bye. 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 That didn't really seem like an especially productive point to end the call, though you also weren't sure where to go from there. Looking at Cove, his face seemed as lost as yours. No alternative, you hung up and put your phone back on your bed. Cove crossed his arms, a frown creasing his face. He began to pace the length of your room, clearly trying to put the pieces together in his head in a way that made sense. You were worried, felt pretty confident about how this working out. It sounded like trouble to you. You weren't sure how to react. I mean, the way she was reacting, it does sound like trouble to me, and I hope they do make it. Terry wouldn't intentionally cut out Miranda like that. Full stop. Clearly something else was at play, but you couldn't be sure what it was yet. Then again, it might be better to wait for them to work it out between the two of them. Maybe it wasn't your place to intervene at all. I feel like it sucks when like bad things happen between like two mutual friends you have, because it's like, do I meddle and hope that helps, or would the meddling just make it worse? I mean, you kind of learn that from TV, that usually it makes it worse, but you really want to help. The empty state of your head before learning this was not helping you now. You couldn't put two thoughts together. And flopping back on your bed, you stared into space.
Hmm.
We should probably try calling Terry. Cove's voice managed to drag you back to some grounding. He stopped pacing, but you still saw a perturbed look on his face. I feel like I'm just pronouncing it wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, I'm worried about her too. You bounced up and moved to his side, ready to act on whatever plan you two could come up with. Cove started with the easiest thing. Pulled out his phone and called Terry. Cove let it ring and ring and ring and ring. Terry didn't answer. There wasn't even an option to leave a voice message. Your shoulders slumped and Cove looked even more troubled. That was possible. He turned to you as if for some lifeline. Could you try calling? I'm gonna send a text just like, hey, I was trying to reach you. Call me or something. Yeah. You took your phone once more, unfortunately, after another set of minimal rings, the line went dead. No answer. No voicemail. Hanging up, you saw Cove visibly deflate. He rubbed his arms, eyes distant, openly struggling with the whole affair. I don't like this at all. They're fighting. We barely know anything and we're supposed to just wait and see. Despite it only being a minute since he texted Terry, Cove checked his phone again. He was desperate for progress for something, and he frowned as you watched him.